I see you surrounded by outstretched hands. Everyone needs your help, kid. Everyone wants you to see things their way. And whether you want it or not, you're gonna have to decide which ways of life keep going in the Commonwealth and which end.
In our last episode, we finally had the Courser chip decoded by the railroad. It took us a while to find them, only to discover that the password into their super secret base was railroad. Yeah. But after they decoded it for us, we took the plans back to Virgil, who then drew us blueprints to create a signal interceptor. Turns out the signal that teleports people to and from the Institute is carried by classical music radio waves. So, all we gotta do is intercept a signal from the Institute to teleport a Courser that's being delivered on a classical music station, and we get the teleport instead of the Courser. Bingo bango bongo, we appear in the Institute. The only problem is that yours truly doesn't have the expertise to actually build a signal interceptor. And so, we need to find some friends who do. Thus far, in our exploration of the Commonwealth, we have come upon 3 major factions: the Minutemen, the Brotherhood of Steel, and the Railroad. Each faction has the capacity to build the signal interceptor, but we can only pick one of them, and each of them has different hoops that we have to jump through before they're willing to work with us. We'll go over everything we need to do to get the signal interceptor built by all 3 of them, one at a time. And today, we'll start with the Minutemen. When we left Preston Garvey at Sanctuary with the other survivors from the Quincy Massacre, Preston asked us for help.
I've had word from a settlement asking for help. Trouble is, I've got my hands full here. Do you think you could go help out the settlement?
But at the time, we were busy looking for our son. We didn't have time to go help a settlement, and so we said no.
I can't help right now.
That's your call. I hope you change your mind.
Hopefully he won't hold that against us when we come back to him and ask him if he can build a signal interceptor.
Hey, good to see you again.
Can you take a look at these schematics? They're for a machine to get me inside the Institute.
The Institute? Why in the world would you want to mess around with them?
Can you help me or not?
I guess that's a no? And yeah, that's a no. He has the exact same response to all of these 4 options.
I just need to know if you can help me. They killed my wife.
Oh. I'm sorry.
They kidnapped my son.
Damn. That's some bad business. Even for them.
But maybe he'll be more receptive if we do what he wants us to do first. And so we can tell him that we're willing to help the nearby settlement.
I'd be glad to help.
That's fantastic. The Minutemen could use more people like you. By the way, if you want to help out around here at all, talk to Sturgis. I'm sure he'd be glad for all the help he can get. I haven't forgotten that you need my help. Remind me as soon as you found out what that settlement needed from the Minutemen.
All right, well, we're stuck helping this guy. He tells us that Sturgis might need some help, so tracking him down, we can see what he needs.
You willing to do some work?
I can't help right now.
It's a free country. Let me know if you change your mind.
I love work. I can sit and watch it all day. I'd be glad to help. Just tell me what you need. What kind of help do you need?
Well, for starters, we could use some real beds. We've been sleeping on the ground for too long.
Why do you need my help to build beds?
Look, we got a lot on our plate, and we've been on the run for weeks. We need food, water, shelter, you name it. Well, you asked how you could help. I told you. Did you mean it or not?
Do I look like a carpenter to you?
I don't know what you look like. You said you were willing to help. Making beds is what we need help with.
I can't help right now.
It's a free country.
I'd be glad to help.
Okay. Good deal. Just make sure we can sleep with a roof over our heads. Some of these old houses still look solid enough to do the trick. There's a workbench over there you can use. Give me a holler if you need anything.
Okay, build beds. Got it. We haven't really had much experience with the settlement building system in the game. Well, aside from building Mama Murphy's chair, this is really our first quest that requires us to use it. And so activating the nearby workshop, we can open the settlement building system. Now, beds are pretty cheap, particularly the sleeping bag, which only costs 3 cloth. There should be plenty of materials in the Sanctuary workshop already, but if not, we can scrap a few things around town until we get the cloth we need. The only other thing we have to pay attention to is to make sure that we build these sleeping bags in houses that have roofs. These have to be what are called sheltered beds. That is, beds that are not exposed to the elements. Sturgis won't advance the quest if we build them out in the open. And the reason for this is because the Fallout 4 settlement happiness system takes sheltered versus unsheltered beds into account. Our settlers won't get happy if they sleep in unsheltered beds, and so they're training us early in the game now to build them under a roof. Once we have built all of our sheltered beds, we can head back to Sturgis to see if we're done.
Hey, Sturgis.
I like it. Having a place to sleep will improve everyone's spirits. What we need now is a reliable source of clean water.
What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean.
Like a well. Then we don't have to keep drinking the river water. That stuff's not good for you.
I guess drinking from the river isn't good enough for you.
Well, we've been getting by, but the surface water isn't safe to drink regularly. I'm not looking for anything fancy. A well or two would do the trick just fine.
I'm on it. Clean water coming up.
Great. Thanks again.
Well, now he wants us to build a well. But you know what? I think I'm tired of construction for now. Let's work on Preston Garvey's quest for a while. Now, he told us that a nearby settlement needed our help, and though he didn't tell us where it was, he marked it for us on our map. After walking that way, eventually, we discover 10 Pines Bluff. It's a farm. There are a few people here, and one of them is pointing a gun at us.
What do you want? We don't need any more trouble around here.
Do you always point a gun at everyone you meet?
I'm afraid I do these days. If we lose any more of our crops, we'll be done for. Now you'd best get yourself on down the road. We've got nothing for you.
If I told you I'm with the Minutemen, would you still want to shoot me? Take it easy. I'm with the Minutemen. I'm here to help. Didn't you ask the Minutemen for help?
You're with the Minutemen? I didn't really think you fellas still existed. We sent word with one of them passing traders. But honestly, I never expected anything to come of it. Most people don't put much stock in the Minutemen these days. After Quincy. Bad business, that.
Is there something you need my help with?
Oh, yeah. I'm damn glad you're here.
Do you want my help, or should I be on my way?
Don't get the wrong idea. I'm damn glad you're here.
I didn't expect to get lectured by the people I came to help.
I didn't mean to give offense. Damn glad you're here. No mistake.
We're rebuilding the Minutemen from the ground up. We're the good guys again.
Glad to hear it. No question that things have been worse since the Minutemen fell to pieces. There's a raider gang that's been giving us trouble for weeks. Stealing food and supplies, threatening to kill us all if we don't pony up. We know where they're coming from, but we can't go up against a gang like that.
Will you be willing to join the Minutemen once I've dealt with those raiders?
We'll certainly give it a good long think. People have gotten used to not being able to count on you folks. That's not going to change overnight.
I'll take care of them. I'll kick their asses for you. No problem. Don't worry. I'll take care of those raiders for you.
Thanks, friend. If you folks are for real this time, it'll be a welcome change for the better.
Looks like we need to clear out a nearby raider gang. And though the raider gang we need to clear out is random from any of the other settlements we can claim in the Commonwealth, here at 10 Pines Bluff, it's always the raider gang at the nearby Corvega factory in Lexington. The Corvega factory is big and sprawling. It's one of the best dungeons in the game. It's got a raider boss and a bunch of really interesting raider lore attached to it. But I covered the story of the Corvega plant in a dedicated video that you can watch here. To complete this quest, we don't have to clear it. Instead, all we have to do is kill the raider boss. I have found that the best way to do that is to find a broken pipe at the front of the factory hidden within the ruins of Lexington. Here we find a strange mark on a pipe. We'll learn what this means in a bit. Heading down the pipe, we enter the facility. We kill raiders and turrets as we climb the stairs to the topmost room in the factory. In this large room filled with rusted cars is Raider boss Jared, and we've got to kill him. Thankfully, if we're low level, this is pretty easy. All we've got to do is access a nearby terminal to activate a Protectron, and he'll take care of Jared for us.
Protectron on duty. Your attempted escape is only making things worse for you.
After cleaning up a bit here, we can loot Jared's office, where we find a copy of Grognak the Barbarian on a table next to a terminal.
Excellent.
Grognak the Barbarian, the bosom of the Corsair Queen. Critical hits with unarmed and melee attacks permanently do 5% damage. And nearby we find an end-of-dungeon steamer trunk. Then, heading outside, we can climb the stairs to the scaffolding on the exterior of the building to explore. This is really dangerous at a low level because it's swarming with raiders, all of whom we could avoid if we want to. But it's worth our while, because after killing them all and navigating to the very top, we find the repair bobblehead.
Excellent.
Why go down with the ship when you can try to fix it? Fusion cores permanently last 10% longer. A must-have item for a power armor playthrough. When done, we can head back to 10 Pines Bluff.
Excuse me.
You find those raiders?
I took care of those raiders for you. Yeah, I took care of them. Yeah, I kicked their asses for you.
No kidding? That's the best piece of news we've had around here for a good long time. So we've been talking. We decided if you came through for us, we'd join up with the Minutemen again.
Their history. Now, what do you say about joining the Minutemen? Helping others when they need it.
You helped us. So it'd be pretty ungrateful of us to turn our backs on other folks. If we want things to get better, we've got to start helping each other. So, we're in. You can count on us if you need help down the line. Thanks again, friend.
All right, job done. Heading back to Sanctuary, we can find Preston to tell him the good news.
You know that settlement you sent me to help? They've decided to join the Minutemen.
That's great news. I knew you were the right person for the job. By the way, you should have one of these flare guns. You can use it to signal for help from any nearby Minutemen. Not much use yet, but once we have more allied settlements, you'll have help whenever you need it. I don't think I ever told you what happened to the Minutemen. How I ended up as the last one.
Are you really the last Minuteman?
Maybe not literally. There must be a lot of former Minutemen out there who gave it up in disgust after the Quincy massacre. But we were the last active group of Minutemen. And now, well, it's just me.
I'm not interested in your life story.
Just hear me out. This is important.
I'm listening. I figured you'd tell me when you were ready.
Have you heard of the Quincy massacre?
What was it? I don't think so. No.
I thought everyone in the Commonwealth knew about that by now. Where the Minutemen betrayed each other and the people they were supposed to protect.
You guys came from Quincy, didn't you?
That's right. Mama Murphy, Sturgis, the Longs. They were all from Quincy. I was with Colonel Hollis's group. A mercenary group called the Gunners was attacking Quincy. The people there called for the Minutemen to help. We were the only ones that came. The other groups, they just turned their backs on us and the folks in Quincy. Only a few of us got out alive. Colonel Hollis was dead, so I ended up in charge of the survivors. We never found a safe place to settle. One disaster after another. You saw how it ended in Concord?
I know how it feels to be the last survivor.
Yeah, I guess you do.
Sounds like it's time for the Minutemen to vanish for good.
No, I don't accept that. The Commonwealth needs the Minutemen. Now, more than ever. We just need better leaders. Leaders who will put the good of the Commonwealth ahead of their own little group.
As long as you don't give up, the Minutemen will survive.
I'm not about to give up, but I can't protect the Commonwealth all by myself. Hell, I could barely protect these people. That's why I'm talking to you. I can't rebuild the Minutemen, but I think you can.
I don't know what makes you think that.
You saved us and conquered. There wasn't anything in it for you. You had your own problems to deal with, but you did it anyway. That kind of selflessness has been in mighty short supply around here for quite a while.
Why can't you lead the Minutemen?
That's not who I am. I can get my men through a firefight. I can defend a perimeter against all odds. But that's not going to be enough to bring the Minutemen back from the brink.
I don't know the first thing about the Minutemen.
That doesn't matter. The Minutemen of the last few years are gone, and nobody's going to miss them. We don't need any more petty politics or squabbling over resources or arguing over who has seniority. We need someone who can bring the whole Commonwealth together in a common cause. And I think you've got it in you to be that leader.
Mr. Garvey is quite right, sir. If anyone can unite the people, it's you.
Hey, that means a lot coming from you, Garvey.
I appreciate that. Does that mean you'll do it?
Can you explain what the Minutemen are all about?
We're citizen soldiers. The people of the Commonwealth banding together to protect ourselves and decide our own future. That was the original idea, and it was a good one. The Minutemen fell apart because our leaders forgot what we were supposed to stand for. I think you're the one who can bring the Minutemen back and bring the whole Commonwealth together.
No, I'm not your savior. I have my own problems to deal with.
Sir, it's true we have other priorities, but the Commonwealth's problems are our own as well.
I get it. You can't take care of other people's problems when you're still overwhelmed by your own. But one day, I hope you change your mind and accept my proposal. The Commonwealth needs you.
He won't help us build the signal interceptor unless we accept.
What do you say? Will you be the leader that the Commonwealth needs? Will you rebuild the Minutemen?
Okay, I'll do it.
That's the spirit, sir, and one giant step in the right direction for the Commonwealth.
Good. Good. Welcome aboard. I feel like this is a whole new start for the Minutemen, and the Commonwealth too. Don't worry, I'll be right beside you all the way, General.
So if I'm a general, where's my army?
You're looking at it, I'm afraid. But I wasn't joking when I called you that.
I'm no general.
You're gonna have to get used to it.
That's quite a promotion you just gave me. Why are you calling me general?
The leader of the Minutemen has always held the rank of general. Our last leader was General Becker. After he died back in '82, nobody could agree on who should take his place. The one good thing about being the last Minuteman is there's no one to argue with me when I say you're the new general. Now it's your job to make it more than an empty title. A pack of ghouls has holed up near a settlement. They could use our help. I'll mark it on your map. We can use all the support we can get, so see what you can do to help.
With that, Preston Garvey is now available to be our companion. We become the General of the Minutemen. He gives us a new quest to help the settlers at Greentop Nursery, and then he walks off. But now that we've agreed to become the General of the Minutemen, we can ask him our original question.
You wanted help earlier. Some kind of machine to get into the Institute?
Did you know the Institute has a teleporter? They call it the molecular relay.
Teleportation? For real? Wow. That would explain a lot about how the Institute manages to operate.
I'm not sure I can explain how it works, but a former Institute scientist gave me these plans.
There can't be too many former Institute scientists running around loose. I guess he'd be likely to know what he's talking about.
It gets me inside the Institute. That's all that matters.
Okay, General. If you think it will really work, then you should see if Sturgis can make heads or tails of those plans. If anyone can make heads or tails of those plans, it'd be Sturgis. I haven't found anything yet that he couldn't build or fix. Maybe you can find out where those bastards are coming from and put a stop to it.
At last, the Minutemen are gonna help us. We had to join them, but at least we've got the help we need. And we don't even have to complete Sturgis's other quests to get him to work with us. Now that we have a relationship with him after making the beds, he's willing to talk with us about the molecular relay.
Preston thought you might be able to figure out these plans for me.
Sure thing. Let's see what you've got.
Do you think you can build this? I need to know if you can build this. Here you go.
Wow. What a mess. Looks like, encrypted RF transmissions. Okay, so that gets routed through... What the hell? Teleportation. This is some pretty crazy shit. You sure it's for real?
Either it is, or we end up building one hell of a paperweight.
Well, whoever wrote this does seem to know what they're talking about. Could be a genius or totally insane. Guess we'll find out.
I got this from someone who should know what he's talking about. Can you build it, or not?
Well, yeah. I think so.
I wouldn't be wasting your time if I didn't think it was real.
Okay. But you gotta admit, it isn't every day somebody asks me to build them a teleport hijacker.
It's real. I got it from an ex-Institute scientist.
Seriously? I didn't know you could be an ex-Institute anything and still be breathing. Anyway, the eggheads never think about the nuts and bolts of actually making something work. But, looks like it's all here. Yeah, I'm gonna need some time to study this thing. The handwriting's pretty hard to make out. But, you can get started on what he calls a stabilized reflector platform. It'll need some pretty high-grade metals, but it's basically not that different than the lining of a jet engine or something like that.
I'm not feeling confident here, Sturgis.
Don't worry, we'll figure it out. No matter how crazy the theory, in the end, it all comes down to engineering.
Good work, Sturgis.
Well, don't thank me yet. I think I got the gist of it, but it's gonna take some time to work out the details of some of the hairier sections.
Can you give me a list of what I'll need to build this platform? Just tell me what we need so I can get started.
Yeah, sure. Here's a list of what you'll need for the first piece. I'm pretty sure we've got all that at Sanctuary, if you want to build it there. While you're working on that, I'll get busy figuring out how to actually build the rest of this thing. Keep in mind, I can already see this is gonna take a crazy amount of juice. Like if you had a spare nuclear reactor handy, we could probably use it. And it's going to be big. So find a nice open building site with lots of power available.
With that, he gives us a document called Items Needed Reflector Platform. Here's what we'll need for the stabilized reflector platform. 10 aluminum, 3 circuitry, and 5 steel. Pretty sure we've already got what you'll need at Sanctuary. If you want to build the Interceptor there, Sturgis. Okay. Sure enough, if we run around scrapping stuff, we get tons of steel, aluminum, and even a bit of circuitry that we need to build the platform. And we can build this thing anywhere, at any settlement that we own. But I chose to go ahead and build mine at Sanctuary. When building at Sanctuary, it helps to remove one of these totally destroyed houses and use its concrete foundation as a platform. Then, once built, we can head back to Sturgis.
Hey, Sturgis.
How's it going? Did you find a good spot to build your signal interceptor?
There's a giant metal pizza sitting on the ground now. So, yeah.
I was just asking. No need for the snide remarks.
No, not yet.
Okay. I got plenty to keep me busy here. Don't worry.
Yeah. Ready to build the rest of it.
Good. I think I got a handle on this crazy contraption. At least as much as I can tell. Until we actually try to build it.
Did you figure out the rest of Virgil's schematics?
I think so. Best I can tell until we actually try to put it together. Here's a list of 3 things that may be harder to find. I think I'll be able to pull together everything else we're gonna need. I'll meet you over at the building site and see if we can actually make this thing work.
Can you explain how this thing is actually gonna work?
Let me break it down for you. There's 4 main parts to this thing. 1, a control console to input the code and process the signal. 2, what he calls a relay dish. That's what intercepts the teleporter signal. 3, a molecular beam emitter. It's pretty technical here, but looks like this is what translates your matter into energy for transmission. 4, the stabilized reflector platform that you already built. That's what concentrates and reflects the molecular beam.
It may take me a while to gather these things.
That's okay. I'll need time to figure out how to make everything work together.
I'd better get started.
Okay.
Thanks, Sturgis. I'll get right on this.
Good deal. One thing to keep in mind while you're building this, it all needs to be wired together so all the pieces can talk to each other. I'll see you over at the building site. Good luck.
And we've got more to build. With that, he gives us Items Needed Signal Interceptor. There are 3 specific things that we're going to need. I hope they're not too hard to find. A military-grade circuit board, try old military bases. Biometric Scanner, hospitals and clinics are your best bet. A sensor module, look in radio stations, radar sites, etc. Let me know if you have any trouble finding any of these. Good luck, Sturgis. If we missed him giving us that note in our inventory, we can also talk with him again, whereupon he'll tell us more about the items we need to collect.
Hey, Sturgis.
You need any help with that, signal interceptor?
How are we going to build the control console?
We're gonna need something to translate your molecular and biological information for the transmission. Old hospitals seem like the best bet. Anything else I can help you with?
Not sure how we're going to build this relay dish.
We should be able to scavenge what we need from old communication equipment. Radio stations, radar sites, that kind of thing. Need help with anything else?
I need to find parts for the beam emitter.
We're gonna need a military-grade circuit board. Check out pre-war army bases. Any other questions?
Not now.
He then marks 3 locations on our map. The medical center he marks is Milton General Hospital. The old radio station he marks is actually Hubris Comics, which was a television station. But he doesn't mark a location where I can get a military-grade circuit board because I already had one. I looted one when I explored the Federal Surveillance Center K-21B in my video on the Glowing Sea, so it was already in my inventory. If I didn't have one, then he'd find a location for me to scavenge from to get the circuit board. We can first head to Hubris Comics, a location I covered in a dedicated video, and after clearing the place, we find the item we need in a duffel bag on the other side of an expert locked door. There's a hole in the wall that we can peer through to see the duffel bag, but we can't reach the duffel bag unless we pick this lock. Ugh. But if we can, sure enough, inside the duffel bag, we find a sensor module. Finally, we can head to the Milton General Hospital to find the Biometric Scanner. Now, this place is swarming with robots, so after clearing the place, we need to navigate to the top floor in a room directly above the lobby. This item is hiding behind an advanced locked door. So again, we gotta pick this lock. But if we can, once inside, we find the Biometric Scanner in a desk. Now remember, we don't have to get these items at the places that Sturgis marked on our map. We can use any military-grade circuit board, biometric scanner, or sensor module. So even if we don't invest in hacking or lockpicking, we can still get this quest done. But once the items are in our inventory, we can head back to Sanctuary. Moving to the foundation where we're building our device, we can first build the control console, which requires the biometric scanner. And we can then build the molecular beam emitter, which requires the circuit board. This snaps in place on top of the reflector platform. It's the only segment of the signal interceptor that snaps to another piece. Finally, we can build the relay dish, which does not require a sensor module. You'll notice that none of the items we just built required the sensor module, even though the quest asked for us to optionally go get one. Which means the sensor module step in the quest is actually a glitch. We don't need it, it's not used, we can skip it. Next, we have to power this sucker, and it requires 27 power to work. If we connect power to the device, but not the right amount, some parts of it will turn on, while others won't. The game doesn't tell you which part still needs to be powered, and NPCs won't react until you get every piece powered. So it's important to make sure that we're counting all the power as we build it. Additionally, Sturgis said that all of the power and the signal interceptor needs to be on the same grid. This sounds a bit more complicated than it is, really. And there are a number of ways we could do this, but the simplest way, I think, is to connect all of the generators to each other and then connect one of them to one of the components of the signal interceptor, as long as we are sure that each of those pieces are connected to each other as well. In my game, I connected all pieces of the signal interceptor to the console, and then I connected the console to my bank of generators. When done, the thing fires up. And Sturgis walks to the console. Once he's in position, we can talk with him.
Everything looks good on my end. You ready to see if this thing actually works?
Shouldn't we test it first?
I wish we could, but we've only got the one frequency code. There's no way to test it without actually jacking into the Institute signal. And as soon as we do that, we've used our one and only chance. As soon as the Institute figures out what we did, and I gotta believe those brainiacs won't be caught napping twice. That code we've got is useless.
I have some things to do first. I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll keep tuning this baby. Although we won't know if it's gonna work until we actually try it.
Let's do this.
You sure? Okay. Your part is simple. Just step onto the platform. I'll start scanning for an Institute signal to lock onto. Then, I fire her up and we see what happens.
With that, we are ready to use the signal interceptor. And all we have to do is step on the pad. We'll find out exactly what happens when we step on this pad in an upcoming episode. But first, we have to see exactly what happens if instead of the Minutemen, we choose to work with the Brotherhood or the Railroad. To find out what that looks like, be sure to watch my next episode. I publish new Fallout videos each and every week on my channel, so if you don't want to miss that episode, be sure to subscribe and to click that bell notification button. If you have already, but you still feel like you're missing out on YouTube notifications, consider following me on Twitter at Oxhorn. I update Twitter manually with every new piece of content that I publish. I've got a shirt shop with completely unique designs that you can't find anywhere else. My designs come on shirts in a variety of men's, women's, and children's sizes, and in a wide array of colors. You can find them on other products as well, like smartphone cases, pillows, posters, mugs, stickers, prints, etc. So if interested, you can find a link to my shop in the description below, or you can click here. If you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming a patron on Patreon or a member here on YouTube. YouTube members get little badges that appear next to their names in the comment sections of my videos and access to ox emojis that they can use in my video comments and in the live chats of my live streams. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with the next episode in the full story of Fallout 4.
Signal! Tracking RF! And... got it! Hold on to your butt!